There is a terrifying moment in the dead of night, perhaps when the rain is lashing against the window pane like 1,000 frantic fingers seeking entry. When you look into the mirror and realize that the eyes staring back at you are not your own, but are the ancient, judging eyes of the man who gave you life. You are possessed, my friend, possessed by the ghost of the father. And this possession is the silent tragedy that writes the script of your entire existence before you have even learned to speak your own name. It is a trembling thing, isn't it? To acknowledge that the architecture of your very conscience, the foundation upon which you build your cathedrals of hope and your dungeons of despair, was laid by the hands of a giant you called Father. He is the first God you ever knew, and inevitably, he is the first God who failed you, or worse, the first God who punished you for prayers you did not know how to speak. When we speak of the Father, we are not speaking merely of a biological donor, nor a man who sits at the dinner table breaking bread while reading a newspaper. We are speaking of the archetype, the great pillar of the logos, the severer of ties, the one who stands between the infant and the abyssal, comforting, suffocating pull of the mother. He is the one who holds the sword that cuts the umbilical cord of the psyche, pointing you toward the harsh, blinding sun of the external world. But what happens when that hand shakes? What happens when the sword is used not to liberate, but to wound? You carry this wound not on your skin, but in the marrow of your character, in the way you hesitate before a door, in the way you apologize for taking up space, in the way you love with a desperate, clawing hunger that terrifies even you. Consider the landscape of the Good Father, that rare and luminous figure who seems to belong more to mythology than to the sordid reality of our daily lives. When the Father is present, when he is a fortress of benevolent authority, he performs a miracle of psychological alchemy. He introduces you to the reality principle. He is the benevolent king who blesses your strength but checks your aggression. When you were a child and you fell, the mother would rush to soothe the pain, to tell you the world is cruel and you are safe in her arms. And this is necessary. This is the soil of life. But the Good Father, he stands back. He watches with a gaze that is sharp but loving. He says, "Get up. You are not broken. The world is hard, but you are stronger." In that moment, he grants you the greatest gift a parent can bestow, the belief in your own competence. He separates you from the womb like dependency and initiates you into the tribe of humanity. He validates your existence, not just as a biological organism, but as a social being, a contributor, a force. This is not merely poetic speculation born of a fevered mind. The devastation and the glory are measurable, written in the annals of clinical observation, which merely confirm what the poets have screamed for centuries. In the dense, sorrowful literature of human development, we must turn our eyes to the insights of researchers like Michael Elam. In his extensive and rigorous work, such as The Role of the Father in Child Development 2010, the data elucidates a profound truth: high paternal involvement. The presence of a good father correlates directly with cognitive competence, empathy, and an internal locus of control. The child with a good father knows the rules of the game. They do not fear the world because they have sparred with the dragon in the living room and survived. The father's play, often rougher, more unpredictable than the mother's, is the training ground for the unpredictability of existence. If you miss this, if you missed the rough hands that held you safely while tossing you into the air, you likely walk through life with a flinch, anticipating a blow that may never come, or seeking a savior in a partner, collapsing under the weight of a responsibility you feel ill-equipped to carry. The Good Father creates a bridge between the ego and the world. Without him, the bridge is rote, and you are afraid to cross. But let us descend into the cellar, into the damp darkness where most of us live, and consider the tyrant, the father who dominates, whose word is not just law but terror. In his presence, you learn that love is not a gift but a transaction, purchased with obedience and silence. You learn to shrink, to make yourself small so that the lightning of his rage would not strike the fragile tower of your existence. This is not merely fear. It is the colonization of your inner world. The tyrant father does not just demand order in his house, he installs a garrison in your mind. Every time you hesitate to speak your truth, every time you tremble before authority, every time you feel that gnawing, irrational guilt for simply taking up space in the universe, it is his voice echoing in the hollow chambers of your unconscious. You have internalized the oppressor. You become a prisoner in a jail where you are also the warden, forever pacing the cell, waiting for a verdict that was delivered 20 years ago. The tragedy, the cruel irony that makes one want to laugh and weep simultaneously, is that you despise him, yet you emulate him. You find his rage erupting from your own throat when you least expect it, a dormant volcano triggered by the slightest friction. You promised yourself you would never be him, yet the unconscious compulsion to repeat the trauma, to resolve the unresolved, drives you to don his mask. You become the thing you hate because it is the only definition of power you have ever known. And then there is a ghost even more haunting than the tyrant, a figure that leaves no bruises but hollows out the soul, the absent one, the father who was there, but not there, the phantom who sat in the armchair, shielded by a screen or a bottle, a dense fog of indifference rolling off him. Or perhaps he was gone entirely, a hole in the fabric of the family where a man should have stood. This absence is not a vacuum, it is a presence. It is a negative weight, a black hole that swallows your self-esteem. The human psyche abhors a vacuum, and so you filled that empty chair with monsters, with fantasies, with an idealized God image that no mortal man could ever live up to. Because he gave you no map, you have spent your life wandering in the wilderness, seeking validation from every passing stranger, looking for a king to crown so that you might finally feel safe. You are the eternal apprentice, waiting for a master who never arrives. This creates a profound neurosis, a hunger that eats itself. You become obsessed with the law because you never internalized it naturally. You drift. You lack the sword to cut through the chaos of life because he never handed it to you. You remain, in some secret, shameful part of your heart, a child waiting to be picked up. The academic scrutiny of this dynamic is equally rigorous and devastating. We must confront the work surrounding parental acceptance rejection theory, pioneered by researchers like Ronald P. Ronner. In his seminal article, The Parental Acceptance Rejection Syndrome, Universal Correlates of Perceived Rejection, American Psychologist, 2004, Ronner meticulously documents what the soul knows intuitively, that the withdrawal of paternal warmth, the sting of rejection, creates a specific form of malignant psychological atrophy. The rejected child does not just feel sad, they develop a worldview where the universe itself is hostile, unstable, and unworthy of trust. This syndrome manifests as hostility, emotional instability, and a negative self-esteem that clings to the spirit like barnacles on a sinking ship. You feel this, do you not? The suspicion that if anyone truly saw you, saw the shivering child behind the adult mask, they would leave? That is the legacy of the father who turned his back, or the father whose face was a mask of stone. You are left with a hostility that has nowhere to go, so it turns inward, becoming depression, or outward, becoming rage. Let us not forget the insights of Erich Fromm, that astute observer of the human condition, who understood the fundamental difference in the textures of love. He proposed that while mother love is unconditional, I love you because you are, father love is inherently conditional. I love you because you fulfill my expectations, because you do your duty, because you are like me. This sounds harsh to the modern ear, which craves softness, but it is a fundamental developmental truth. The good father uses this conditionality not to crush, but to elevate. He sets the standard. He creates the tension required for growth. If the mother is the soil, the father is the sun, too much distance, and you freeze, too close, and you burn. But when the father is toxic, this conditionality becomes a torture device. The bar is set so high it cannot be reached, or the rules change inextricably, leaving you in a state of constant, vibrating anxiety, dancing on hot coals to please a God who cannot be pleased. But here is the rub, the agonizing twist of the knife that we must confront if we are to be honest with ourselves. Even the good father casts a shadow. Even the hero has a flaw. And this is where your suffering becomes a path to redemption. If you had a perfect father, you would be stunted, trapped in an eternal childhood, worshipping a man who does not exist. The flaw of the father is the crack in the ceiling that lets the light of your own individuality shine through. You must understand that your father, whether a demon or a saint, was just a man, a stumbling, frightened, imperfect creature carrying the luggage of his own father, and his father before him, a long, rusted chain of pain stretching back to Adam. You judge him, you hate him, you worship him, you mourn him. The internal dialogue never ceases. Would he be proud? Why did he do that? I am nothing like him. I am exactly like him. This is the fever of the soul. You are possessed by the imago of the Father. To become yourself, to truly undergo the painful alchemical process of individuation, you must, in a metaphorical and spiritual sense, kill the Father. Not the man of flesh and blood, but the internal authority that holds you captive. You must retrieve the gold from the dragon's cave. The gold is your own authority. You must learn to bless yourself. You must look at the scar he left you and say, "This is mine now." If you had a bad father, your road is harder. Yes, it is a path through the valley of the shadow of death. You have to build the foundation of your house while the storm is already raging. You have to learn to be a king without ever having seen a throne. But there is a chaotic beauty in this. The man who builds himself from the ruins is stronger than the man who inherits a palace. Your suffering has carved out a capacity for depth that the unburdened do not possess. You know the darkness, therefore, you can navigate it. You can become the father to yourself that he never was to you. You can break the chain. It is a terrible responsibility, this consciousness. You stand at the edge of a cliff. Behind you is the ghost of the father, whispering his failures, his expectations, his unlived life which he tried to foam off onto you. Ahead of you is the void of the future. You want to turn back, to hide in the shadow of his coat, even if that coat smells of whiskey and disappointment. But you cannot. You must step forward. You must integrate the shadow. You must accept that his blood runs in your veins, but his fate does not have to be your destiny. You are the synthesis of his thesis and the world's antithesis. The bad father forces you into a rebellion that can forge a diamond-hard character, provided it does not shatter you first. The good father provides a platform, but you must still leap. In the end, the father is the gatekeeper. He stands at the threshold of the unconscious and the conscious, the family and the society. If the gatekeeper was asleep, or drunk, or cruel, you have to storm the gate. You have to seize the keys. This is the great, silent drama of every human life. We are all searching for the Father. We look for him in our leaders, our gods, our lovers, our addictions. We crave the order, the not that defines boundaries, the yes that validates worth. But look closely at your own hands. Look at the lines on your palms. They are his hands. But the actions they take are yours. The pain you feel, that crushing weight in the chest when you think of him, that mixture of love and revulsion, is the fuel for your transformation. Do not run from it. Do not numb it. Let it burn you clean. References to the superego might arise in your mind, the stern internal critic. And indeed, as Freud sketched out, the father is the architect of this structure. But it goes deeper than a structural model. It touches the mythic. It touches the realm of the Titan Kronos, who ate his children to prevent them from surpassing him. If your father tried to devour you, spiritually or emotionally, it was because he feared your light. He feared that you would become the Zeus who would dethrone him. And you must. You must take the throne of your own life. So, what will you do with this ghost? Will you let him haunt the corridors of your mind, rattling chains and slamming doors, driving you into madness and resentment? Will you continue to project his face onto the world, seeing tyrants where there are only men, and seeking saviors where there are only mirrors? Or will you invite him to the table, pour him a glass of wine, listen to his story, forgive his trembling hands, and then, with the authority that you have earned through your own suffering, tell him that it is time for him to rest? Will you tell him that you have the watch now? The choice is terrifying. The choice is yours. The mirror is waiting. The eyes staring back are no longer just his. They are yours. The transition is complete only when you can look at him in memory or in reality and see not a god, not a monster, but a man. Just a man. And in that realization, in that profound and holy pity for the one who wounded you, you are finally free. You pick up the pen that he dropped and you write the next chapter.